This is Michael, and welcome back to me and Paul's channel. We're so excited to have you here. In today's video, we're going to talk about how to find out-of-state property owners. But before we start, for those of you that are new, me and Paul, we talk about buying real estate, selling real estate, and all the exit strategies we use, like virtual wholesaling, buying and managing rental properties locally and out of state, renovation projects, private lending, and owner financing. We buy primarily through online auctions and have purchased in 44 states. So I want to make sure you subscribe to our channel because we have new videos coming out every week, and to turn on the bell so you get notified of these new videos. With that said, I'm going to dive into today's video, which we're going to talk about how to find out-of-state property owners. So let me share my screen now. All right. So before we get started, there are tons of different list brokers that you could use to find this data. And what we're going to use today as a demonstration is ListSource. And basically it has addresses of multiple people in different lists across the country in the US that you could purchase, and then you could mail to letters, postcards, etc. So today, again, there's multiple of these list brokers that you use. We're going to use ListSource to demo. And before we start, you could either, some of these companies have products already split out for you. So if you go under consumer marketing here, you could just click on absentee owner, and that's essentially a list that you could purchase in a certain area. But for us, we're just going to start from scratch, create your own. That way you can kind of test it out, and this kind of logic could apply to any of these different sites. So if we create our own, here we're going to cover different tabs. But for the purposes of this reason, first is geography. So you drop down here, you could sort by county, city, MSA, zip code, etc. There's tons out here. So you could really narrow in like a zip code, or you could, if it's a smaller city, you could get the entire city and market to absentee owners or out area owners in that area. So let's just pick city, and then state. Let's just do Wyoming. And then let's just do Casper. And then you would just add it. And if you wanted to add another city in the state of Wyoming, you would do the same. And this all applies to whether you pick state or anything else like zip code. You could add multiple zip codes, etc. So in this example, we just pick city. And then that gives us a list of 25,000 and change so far. Next tab is mortgage. And for me, if I pull a list from here, I don't make any changes here. If someone has a mortgage or whatever type, it doesn't bother me for mailing to out-of-state owners. Next is property. You could look for specific properties you're mailing to. They have all this data here, whether it's an equity list, the current home value, the number of buildings, if it's multifamily, maybe only mail to property owners that own houses with 5+ bedrooms or something like that. So you can see here, there's a ton of examples. For this reason, let's say we want to target out-of-state rental property owners that recently purchased a property, not something like 25 years ago. So maybe we do last market record date, and we could just look at, let's just say the last 2 years for purposes here, and add. So these are basically all your out-of-state owners in Casper, Wyoming. That list went from 25,000 down to 4,000 when we looked at the number of people that were out-of-state owners that recently purchased a property, or out-of-area owners, I should say. So that's another filter that you could use here. And then you have the demographics tab. Again, you could get more granular with your list. For purposes here, I'm not going to select anything for out-of-area owner list. And then foreclosures, you could just focus on default, pending, bank owned. I don't select any of these. And then finally, options here are, owner occupied status. Again, we want an absentee owner list. So we'll click that. We don't want any owner occupieds. And then you can get it so granular as include properties with in-state owners and out-of-state owners. For this purposes, I'll just include both. They might live on the other side of the state, but they're still out-of-area owners. And you can see so far the initial list in Casper is 25,000. We're down to 500 something. And then, trust-owned properties, do you want to include them or exclude them? Corporate-owned, so if someone else owns it on a S Corp or LLC, do you want to include it or exclude it? You could see that quickly by having no preference, doubled it from 500 something to 1,000. And then you want a complete mailing address. And then basically that's the last tab. And then you hit purchase list. That takes you to here and gives you a cross estimate that this list costs about 180 bucks. And a quick way to save some money potentially, if you want, is just to have one address per company. So, example of a landlord, a mom and pop, or a big company owns 5, 10, kind of multiple properties. Instead of getting their address, you're not going to mail to them 10 times, you're just going to mail to them once, essentially, in this example. Just remove duplicates here. So that will minimize your list and save on cost as well, because you're not going to mail to someone 10 of the same postcard on a property that you're selling or looking to buy. So, and then once you're done, you just check out and then you download the Excel file that they give you, or CSV file. Every site has different formats, and you could add that to your mailing list, whether it's postcards, letters that you're looking to mail to them then. Hope this video was helpful. And if it was, add any comments in the comment section below, like the video, and give us some ideas of future topics that you guys want us to cover. Thanks everyone, and have a great day.